Get ready for one of the most thrilling events of the season, the World Pool Gold Cup Race Day. This July 28th, join us for a spectacular showcase of equine excellence with 8 graded races in one exhilarating event. Feel the excitement as these magnificent athletes push themselves to the limit over the demanding 3,200-meter track. Will a new champion emerge, or will future Pearl and champion jockey defend their title? Don't miss out on this unforgettable day of top-tier racing as we close the season with high stakes and electrifying action at Hollywood-Bet's Greyville Racecourse. It's not just a race, it's a test of endurance, courage and the relentless pursuit of victory.
Very warm welcome to all our international viewers. It's World Pool Day here in South Africa. We're here at Greyville Racecourse in a 10-race program, and it really is the culmination of the racing season. A whole host of graded races, and we'll be finding out who's going to be coming out on top in terms of our champion trainer. And we have one of those trainers here with us in the panel as well, but one who's right just on the coattails of Sean Terry. Let me introduce first Brett Crawford. Brett, it's been a great season for you. You've just come off a great July where you won back-to-back. You won last year as well.
Yeah, been a very good season. Thanks, Grant. Very, very pleased to have won the July, and obviously to do it 2 years in a row is something really special. It took 20 years to do it, but eventually got it right.
You've been knocking on the door a bit early in your career.
Yeah, I think my son's a far better trainer than me.
Well, it's certainly starting to look like it. But the man immediately on your left is Sean Terry. You're in the title hunt for champion trainer. It's between yourselves and Justin Snaith, unless Brett Crawford pulls off a miraculous day on Sunday as well. But it's been a good season for you as well.
Yes, very good season. I'm very pleased with the results thus far. I think Brett's a bit closer to me than I am to Justin. So, I mean, we've got a mountain to climb, but we'll give it a go. Yeah, things are going really well, and it'd be lovely to finish off the season strong.
You got some nice runners on the day?
Yeah, I'm very happy with the card and the races and how they've worked out. And yeah, at this stage, all systems go.
Well, a face very familiar to Hong Kong viewers. He's ridden there. He's obviously been on the World Pool panel a number of times. Anthony, thanks for joining us once again.
Thanks for having me, Grant.
Now, obviously, you've got a role as racing manager. You've got quite a few runners on the day as well for your company. And you must be expecting a couple of nice runners.
Yeah, we've got a few of them that's got good chances, and yeah, hoping to have a winner.
Excellent stuff. And then immediately to the left of Anthony Dalpesh, a very familiar face to our Hong Kong viewers, and that's Keagan de Melo, who's back in South Africa for a short stint.
Yeah, look, nice to be back home where it all started off, and just looking forward to a good day's racing, and with a bit of luck, hopefully get a winner or two.
You've got some nice competitive rides.
Yeah, when you're riding for a good trainer like Justin, it always helps. So the horses are in a good space, so hopefully they bring their A game.
Fantastic stuff. So that's the panel, and we're going to go straight into our opening race, which is a listed event. It is the World Pool with Tab Gold Darley, and this is a competitive race as well. Your favourite is number 1, Joker Man, and he looks like he's going to be a runner that could be very competitive here as well. We have got Brett Crawford with a runner on the card as well. We'll be chatting to him, and obviously Keagan de Melo's got a ride. But your next best in the betting is Get Impressed from the Justin Snaith yard, and that is Keagan de Melo's ride. So I'm going to start with Keagan. Keagan, this horse looked like he was going to win on July Day. He moved up and he just got found probably a little maybe tiring in the closing stages there. Have you been on him? Has he been working well?
Yeah, I've sat on him 3 times during the week, and he's doing exceptionally well back at home. I've watched his replays, and he has a tendency to hang in quite badly. So he had a horse on his inside there, so obviously trying to avoid heels, he had to come off a little bit. So he's in good form at home. He's taken his last run very well, and yeah, look, he's well in at the weights, and I just think that the race might go according to plan for him. You know, there's a lot of pace in the race, and we can only hope for a true run race. And
you've got the benefit of a good draw.
Yes, look, hopefully he can find the paint with his bad habit, but if not, I'll just have to ride him accordingly, and like I said, he's in good form at the moment.
All right, so certainly a runner that needs to be included in all bet types, but I think Brett Crawford thinks his runner should be included too, and he's got number 14 here, Pomodora's Jet, who was all the rage on Durban July Day, drops back in trip a bit. I think that might be to his advantage, Brett.
Yeah, definitely, Grant. Last time I think we just stretched him a bit too far. He is, after all, out of a Captain Elme. So, his form over a mile is actually impeccable. He's had 6 runs for 4 wins, a second and a third. Unfortunately, we're drawn very bad. 14's not going to be easy at this track. So I think that's the biggest thing against him. But other than that, he's in very good form. He's got a great galloping weight. And if we get luck in running, you can make sure that his presence will be felt.
All right, great stuff. I think he's certainly going to be a horse that's going to be finishing the race off really well. Anthony, you've got number 3, Imalenzi Yokoduduma, who is also really consistent. You've also got a runner, number 16, who is a reserve, who might not make it into the race. So let's concentrate on number 3. Didn't run a bad race last time out, and on his day, he can certainly be competitive in a race like this.
Yeah, I think you have to ignore his last run. He was really given a poor ride. And we're putting the blinkers on for the first time. And yeah, he's got a good draw, and he brings his A game. I think he'll be in the finish.
He's certainly a runner that can finish these races off nice. He's also got the benefit of a decent draw, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's going to make a big difference. And he's a horse that hasn't helped us a lot. He doesn't travel in the race, and he loses his position. So we're hoping that the blinkers is going to be able to get him to hold his position. And yeah, I think he must have a chance.
If you were to suggest a winning bet or an each-way prospect, would he be that to the viewers?
Yeah, I think he's been a bit inconsistent. So I wouldn't say a winning bet. I think that horse, Get Impressed, must be the horse to beat.
Keagan, would you think that you're on the right horse?
Yes, I would think so. You know, he's still a young horse and he's on the improve, and he's probably in the Pinnacle Stakes. It was probably one of his better runs, but he was weighted to win the race. So, in saying that, he's a horse that is on the improve. So, Justin and them think that he's probably my best rider in the day. So, hopefully, we can start off well.
Fantastic stuff. And then obviously Pomodora's Jet, you can throw that in as well. Sean, I know you're an avid studier of form. Is there anything in the race that you think we've missed out, or do you think it is between those 3 possibly?
I think it's a tough sort of race, but obviously you go with the draws. I think horses 1 to 5 have all got form and draw, and yeah, I wouldn't be able to stick my neck out.
All right, so maybe it is Get Impressed who could be the leading light for race number 1. Race number 2 is the Whirlpool with Gold Circle Debutante. It's a Group 2 contest, and we start getting right into some of the good action now as well. A competitive race this, and let's take a look at the betting. And here your betting is Simply Majestic, currently around the 3.6 mark. You've then got Rodeo Drive, who's also not too far off in terms of favouritism, but he's going to have a lot of supporters on the day as well. Happy Holly next best, and then Little Ballerina, who will attract some support on the day, I am sure. Let's start with Sean Terry, because here's a runner, Rodeo Drive, who looks set to be very competitive here. And I think really is a horse that could be followed on the day, Sean.
Yeah, I'm very happy with her. I think things have gone smoothly. She's gone from strength to strength. We did run behind Simply Majestic on debut. I'm hoping that we've made the progress, and I think she's got an outstanding chance.
She obviously looks like she's improving each and every run as well.
She seems to be, and obviously she's getting fitter and stronger as we go along. I just think that Scottsville run was really good. I think we were a little bit nervous that she may overdo it, and I think if we had been a bit more positive, we would have gone even closer. But very happy with her. I think she's got plenty in her favour.
All right, Brett, you've got number 5, Kindred Heart. This is a 2-year-old daughter of Erupt. She hasn't been running too badly, and her last run may be a little bit disappointing in terms of the form she needs to come into a race like this. Outside chance for you, a quartet berth?
Yeah, Grant, to be fair, I think it's going to be quite difficult for her. You know, off a rating of 94, she's carrying level weights with a few horses that are quite a few pounds above her. So I think she'd have to really be on top of her game to be competitive. We're hoping to get some black type, but I do think it's going to be quite difficult for her.
All right, let's move on to Keagan, because he's riding number 8, Dark Winter. Now, here's a runner who won its last start and won it pretty well, and on that, there could still be quite a bit of improvement to come.
Yeah, we're hopeful. Her work's been good. She's taken her run very well. I just think off a rating of 94, it's going to be very difficult to beat the 1 and 2.
All right, so it looks like Sean Terry's got quite a leading light here. Sean, would you be disappointed if you didn't come out on top here, or you still got a healthy respect for number 1?
I respect number 1, but I'd be disappointed if I don't fight it out.
Okay, so there's some confidence coming from Sean. Anthony, how do you see race 2 panning out?
Well, I made Rodeo Drive one of the best bets on the card.
Okay, I actually was in the same camp as you. I thought so as well, but I let Sean do the talking on his runner. Sean, you've got nice runners on the day, and obviously Future Pearl later on in the big race, we'll get to him as well. But for some of the players wanting to maybe get involved here with doubles and that, would this be a horse that they can include?
Most definitely. This is one of my better runners on the day, and yeah, it'd be lovely to get one on the board early.
All right, so there we get. We've got confidence from Keagan in race 1, confidence from the other panel member, Sean Terry, in race number 2, and Anthony is siding with Sean. It's going to be rodeo drive for him, and I do think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be climbing onto that horse because it does seem to be going the right way. We'll be back shortly with race number 3. Right, next up is race number 3. It's the At World Pool Twitter Stakes. It's a Group 2 contest. It's over 1,200 metres and a really good cracking contest this as well. Let's go take a look at what's happening in the marketplace. And there you can see that it is Lead the Charge who tops the board. Chocolate Soldiers next picks. There's not much separating those two. They've been vying for favouritism over the last couple of days. Buffalo Storm Cody is next best. And then Sylvanian, the Eastern Cape Raider, is priced up next best as well. I'm going to start with Sean because he has number 7 in the race here, and that is a horse that is Danton from Santon, who's attracted some market support early on, Sean, and again, he's won his last 2, so you can't really fault his form at the moment.
Yes, Grant, this horse definitely improved with the blinkers. He's thriving, he's enjoying his racing. He's had a few runs as a 2-year-old, but he's getting heavy and he's enjoying it. He's not lightening up at all. He's wanting more. I think this is an open race. There's many with chances, but I definitely give him a each-way chance.
Early on, the favourite was Chocolate Soldier, who came out here on July Day, and I think he won the last race, and he won it quite easily. And then obviously there was a bit of support coming for your horse, and then Chocolate Soldier came and topped him again. So the money in the race so far is for those 2 runners.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to beat Chocolate Soldier when we met him. There wasn't a lot between them, but we were coming from off them and actually finished off very strongly. He's got the advantage of a better draw this time, but I think there are a good few others that need to be respected, namely this Bjorn Ironside. I think he looks like he could be a decent horse, and sneaky outside the Jogus Govender's horse. That won very well on debut, and I see they've sat quietly and waited for this. So I'd say that might be a nice quartet horse.
Might be one to throw into the play as well. Keagan, you're riding number 9, Impact Investor, and again, some nice form. Hasn't been beaten far his last couple of starts. It was behind the specialist last time out. Any sort of a chance from you?
Look, I think from that sort of draw, it might be a little bit tricky. He's quite a feisty horse, and I'm just hoping that the pace will be on, but it looks like it might be with Chocolate Soldier. But yeah, he's a horse that does things backwards, so you can't go in overly confident, but I'm going to sound like a broken record. I've worked them and I can't find a fault with any of them, so it's just whether or not the trip will be okay for him. But he's going in fit as well, and just hoping that the pace is on so you can see the best of him. And yeah, but very open race. I thought it's probably one of the more open races on the card.
I think there is quite a bit of pace in the race, so you might be quite comfortable with the pace that they set up front. Brett, anything that stands out for you in the race? I know you don't have a runner.
Rod, I thought, as Keagan said, I thought it's a very difficult race. I think there's a lot of young horses here on the improve. I do like the fact that Sean's horse and Chocolate Soldier have got a bit more racing experience. They seem to be hard knockers, so I would definitely go between those 2. I think those would be my preference.
So the 2 that are on top of the boards at the moment are the ones that Brett's going to be siding with. Anthony, are you in the same, or do you think there's anything else that needs to be thrown in?
Yeah, I think it's a very competitive race. My only concern with Chocolate Soldier is that the 1200 could be a tad too far. I mean, all the wins have been over 5 furlong, and it does show a lot of speed, and there's going to be a lot of speed in the race. My horse in the race I actually like is Beyond Ironside. I think he's on the up, and I think he's a horse I like, but I think the race is very wide open.
All right, so 6, Bjorn Ironside to join the top 2 on the board. It looks like it could be quite a competitive contest, but certainly I wouldn't be leaving out Sean Terry's runner because there has been some support for it in the marketplace, but so too Bjorn Ironside and even Keagan de Melo's runner. So a wide open race. So this one probably not as confident with some of the selections we've had from the panelists earlier on. First of the Group 1 races, and it's going to be aptly named. It's the Douglas White Stakes, the Group 1 over 1,600 metres. Douglas White flying the flag. 4 South Africans in Hong Kong, and I think doing really well as a trainer now. And I'm sure that we'll get some comments from Keagan regarding Dougie. I'm sure he's ridden for him as well. Right, let's go into the race itself. I'm going to start off with Sean again. Sean, World of Alice is one of the runners. You've got Craig Zaki on board. What are you expecting there?
She's a nice filly. We've prepped her for this race for some time. I was actually surprised that one of the other fillies, the leading lights, went for the Colts race, but the 2 to beat are 12 and 13. But the draw is going to even things up a little, and obviously my filly from a good draw certainly is going to help her a lot. So it's a tough race because of those 2 horses, but we'll give them something to think about, most definitely.
We've also got number 8, Varvara.
Yeah, Varvara's penultimate start was excellent. She came from a long way back, drawn bad, and she just was a little flat on July Day. And, that run does worry me, but if I had to ignore that run, I wouldn't be surprised to see her running on into the money.
All right, in contrast, Brett Crawford's run a Fatal Flaw, ran an absolute cracker on July Day and ran a really good, creditable second. You must have been pleased with that.
Yeah, Grant, she's a very nice filly. She's still learning her trade. She's maturing. We expected her to run well last time, and she did. It was a very good run. So I think she's a filly that can definitely be included for your quartets on the day. Obviously, the favourite has got a wide draw to overcome, so I don't think it's going to be as easy, although she did win very, very well last time. But if we get a bit of luck in running, I definitely think our filly will be in the mix.
All right, Keagan, you're riding one of the runners that Sean Terry pointed out. That's number 13, Lock and Key. Hasn't done anything wrong. Had 2 starts, won them both, and looks to be really progressive. Can she be enough to turn out and be competitive against the 12 horse?
I think she could. She's a very nice filly, but my concern is Richard hasn't decided to stick with her and has gone for something else in the race. But I couldn't fault her on her work. She's a lovely filly. I think she's only going to be better once she's 3-4 years old, and she's done nothing wrong, so I can't really fault her. Her work was good, and it's just really one of those races. It's going to be hard to beat the 12, and 1 or 2 of the horses lower down with the draws, but she's doing well, my filly.
It's interesting that you say that. Richard's jumped off to a stable companion that he's ridden before as well. Word from the yard itself, who are they siding with? Is Glenn particularly strong with one or the other?
Look, at work, Glenn probably, he said he couldn't separate them, and I've just got to go and respect Richard's word. He's done nothing wrong this season. He's on top of the log for a reason, and he's obviously had a feel for both, and he's decided to go for the other filly.
Well, it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top between the 2 Cotson runners. Certainly the better draw is with Richard's runner. But Anthony, in terms of number 12, Quid Pro Quo, been ultra impressive.
Yeah, she is definitely, I feel she's definitely the filly to beat. And I think she's got a lot of class about her. Only thing, obviously, is the poor draw, but she has got a really good turn of foot. I think if things did really go wrong for her, I would think that World of Alice would be the horse to beat.
All right, so World of Alice comes into the play there as well from Anthony. Quid Pro Quo, interesting though, if you just chat about her pedigree naturally. She's really by a very relatively unknown stallion out of a relatively unknown broodmare sire as well, Sean. I know you trained Lance.
You're speaking to the wrong guy, because Lance was an absolute champion. His brother, that was not half the horse, won the Summer Cup Liege, and he was unfortunately sidelined because of injury, but may have possibly one of the best young 3-year-olds that I trained before he got injured. So it's no surprise to me.
And he hasn't had many mares, has he?
Not at all, no.
Yeah. So anyway, he's certainly produced a champion here. She's got her Group 1 under the belt, and as far as Anthony's concerned, she could well be ready to win another one. Race number 5 is the Whirlpool moment of the day. It's the Champion Stakes over 1,600 metres, and it is a Group 1. Really open race, some really smart 2-year-olds here, and we're going to go to the panellists. I'm going to start with Keagan, because he's got a runner here, and that's number 4, Great Plains, for Justin Snaith. A runner that was doing really well. Disappointed last start, but I think can probably put a line through that.
Yeah, Justin has said that you can basically put a line through that run. got a little bump out the gates. He over-raced and came a bit wide into the straight, and he never really liked that sort of run. And his work is very good back at home, and I just got to get him into a good position, settled, and hopefully he produces his best. Competitive field, so I can't really stick my head out and say he's gonna win or run in the first 4. But before that, he was faultless, and on that sort of form, you got to look at him as a danger. But like I said, a really good field of 2-year-olds, and looking forward to seeing how they've progressed.
Well, it's going to be very interesting as well, because Sean Terry's got a runner here that has attracted a bit of market support early on, and that's number 9, Cosmic Speed, who hasn't done much wrong, has had the 4 starts, finished second twice, and then has won the other 2. So knocking on the door and could certainly make his presence felt again. What are you expecting, Sean?
Yeah, this horse has got exceptional form. Second in a Group 1. He won a Group 2 on July Day. And yeah, I think he's got lots in his favour. Questionable draw, but you know, if they go hard enough, it can work out for him. But he's a decent horse, and I certainly wouldn't be surprised if he had to round off a double.
Well, right up there on the betting boards as well is your other runner, Legend of Arthur. Now, obviously, Richard Free jumps on board this fella. Can I ask you the question, could you split those two? Would you be siding with Cosmic Speed yourself?
They're very different horses, because Richard's horse is definitely more of a stamina horse. I was slightly disappointed with his prep run, but Richard said it was a perfect run for a horse that was coming off a little break, and he thought that the run would bring him on a lot, and he would definitely be sticking with him regardless of where he draws. So that was obviously gives me a lot of confidence. It is a tough draw, but at the end of the day, if Richard wants to go forward, he can. This horse is ready for the mile, and you know, if they go hard enough, I suppose he'll have to ride his race from there. But certainly, I've got a strong hand in the race. I've got healthy respect for a few others. Actually, I mean, Justin's horse, good draw. You know, it was all the talk previously, and wouldn't surprise me. And even the filly, the fact that they've ducked the filly's race to run against the Colts, you know, that's quite a bold move. So let's see what happens there.
You're based in Johannesburg. You would know a little bit about the Candice Dawson runner here, Truth, who started its racing career off so well. Maybe didn't run to its best form last time out, but what do you think of that as a candidate for top honours?
He's a top horse, there's no doubt about that. And, you know, to try and beat a wide draw over the 14 with his style of racing was literally mission impossible. But he didn't get beaten for. And similar tactics, if he had to get to the front comfortably, I think he could be in the shake-up, definitely.
Certainly a lot of talk and a lot of hype around him, so he'll be pretty keen, I'm sure, to get and set that record straight that he is a top horse. Brett, you haven't got a run in race 5. How do you see it panning out?
Grant, I think Sean holds the key. I initially thought Cosmic Speed, now he's the highest rated horse in the race. He's done very little wrong. I thought his last win was pretty impressive. But just listening to him and the confidence they're getting from Richard, I would think that Sean's got a very strong hand here. So I would side with both Sean's runners, but my preference would be Cosmic Speed.
Well, both of your runners, Sean, should have no problems with the 1600. One's out of a Silvano mare, the other one out of a Galileo mare.
Yes, definitely. I mean, obviously, Legend of Arthur, we know for a fact, he wants this as his minimum trip. So there's no doubt about that. And Cosmic gave us enough confidence the way he finished off his run last time. You know, it's almost sad that I had to put them both in the race, you know, because I feel that I would have a good chance with just one.
Well, I'll tell you what, it would be nice for you if you see them both fighting it out. You know that there's not going to be too much to upset the apple cart unless you're dead heat, and that'll be quite ironic for you as well. Anthony, in terms of race 5, how do you see it panning out?
Well, I think obviously the two of Sean's horse, Cosmic Speed and Legend of Arthur, must be big runner. But for me, the horse they'll all have to beat is the Specialist. He was drawn 13 out of 14 last time. He was second last, came from a long way back, and he finished off his race very, very well. He's got a very good draw. I've seen this horse. He's a very, very smart horse. And I think he's the horse they'll have to beat from the draw.
All right, I'll tell you what, there's some value to be had there as well. So if you're wanting to go a little bit wider in your trifectas, etc., maybe number 2, the specialist, is one to throw in there as well. But as you heard from most of the panelists, Keagan's got a bit of a chance, but Sean Terry does seem to hold a very strong hand. Race number 6 is another Group 1. It's the Mercury Sprint over 1,200 metres. And this is really a cracking contest. We've got some of the best speedsters in the country here. And Brett Crawford's got quite a few of them. So I'm going to start with Brett. And he's got Sergey, who is number 2. He's also got I Am Giant. And he's also got At My Command. All 3 of them ran absolute crackers their last starts. But especially At My Command, who came from a wide draw. So let's start with him. He was absolutely flying in the closing stages on July Day.
Yeah, Grant, you know, since we've opted to bring him back to sprinting, he's had 2 phenomenal runs. You know, he just got beat by Lucky Lad in the Group 1 at Scottsville. And his last start here at Greyville from a very wide draw I thought was an exceptional run. So he's in very good form at home. Been very happy with his prep leading into this. Obviously, roles are reversed now. We've got a decent draw with him today. So definitely expecting him to run a massive race.
Sergey also is one of those horses who's been knocking on the door loudly to win a big race.
Yeah, look, to be fair, I think he's actually overdue. We were disappointed with his run in Scottsville, but to be fair, we made quite a lot of use of him early in the race, and he just seemed to weaken. You know, now from gate 1, you can actually sit and wait, let them cover you. He's got a very good turn of foot. So for me, I'm leaning towards Sergey. I might be wrong, but as you say, I think his day in the sun is due, and I think this is the perfect opportunity for him.
And probably one of the most consistent runners in the Crawford yard is I Am Giant, who just never runs a bad race.
Yeah, look, I thought, you know, this horse has just kept improving with each and every run. He keeps stepping up. His run in the Golden Sprint was also phenomenal. Last time at Greyville, also from the widest draw. You know, he came from a long way back, made it up and just didn't quite finish it off. So I think it'll be completely different now. From a good draw, you'll be able to sit and dictate where you want to be. So we're expecting a good effort from the team here. Very hard to split them. They're all in great form. So I think we're confident of a bold showing here.
Sean, let's move on to you. You've got 2 runners. We'll start with Mrs. Browning, who's the filly taking the boys on here. Hasn't done too much wrong. Is always running there or thereabouts. Is she capable of being competitive here? It's a silly question. You put her in the race, but how optimistic are you that she can actually feature and challenge a horse like Lucky Lad?
Well, listen, this race is going to be difficult because Cape Town has made gluttons of themselves with taking up 6 of the first 7 draws. So, yeah, my 2 have got it all to do from the draw. But this filly's run at Scottsville was exceptional. I thought she may have just gone a touch too soon with the loose horse in the race. And unfortunately, we didn't get home there. We took a chance at the mile. She was always going to be stretched. She didn't disgrace herself. But she lost nothing in defeat, getting beaten 2 lengths. And I honestly feel that she's reasonably well weighted with her 6 allowance here. And if she had a half-decent draw, I would give her a chance.
Lucky Lad, let's chat about him. Obviously, again, as you mentioned, he's got the worst of the draws. But this horse has been a revelation over sprint trips.
Listen, I have no doubt he's the best horse in the race. Whether he has an affinity with this course, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, the twice he's tried this course, it's been a mile. Yeah, I think he could get the job done from the draw. However, the 2 visits to Greyville are at the back of my mind. And obviously, 1,200, you need such luck from a draw like this. But if there's any horse that can find that gear late to overcome the draw, it's him.
Well, he has got great acceleration, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he can turn it on the last 200 like no other I've trained.
All right, so there's some nice confidence. It is just the poor draw that might just be to Lucky Lad's demise, but certainly he's got the right pilot on as well to help. Anthony, before I go to Keagan, I Am Giant has been a revelation since you guys acquired him. And even his last run last time, maybe not his best form, but the run behind Lucky Lad prior to that was exceptional.
Yeah, his last run he was drawn 14 out of 14, and he really didn't get a clear run up the straight. He was always like looking for runs and there was no runs for him. I think the good draw is going to make a big difference. But saying that, the race is really competitive. I think for me, At My Command must be the horse to beat. Obviously, Sean's horse, Lucky Lad, I think is the best horse in the race, but is the draw going to be hard for him? And has he done a little bit too much mileage? That's my only concern.
Certainly, for me, the best horse in the race, as Sean pointed out as well. Royal Aussie, interesting runner, Keagan, because obviously he's not really known as a sprinter, but he has been shown that he has got some pace.
Yeah, look, he's obviously come off a little bit of a rest due to some sort of complication, but he missed the mile, so he's had to come to the 12. Justin and them seem to think that he'll handle it quite nicely with a good pace. But as Anthony mentioned, a very competitive field. I'm in the camp of At My Command, might be a little bit biased, but since he's dropped down in trip, he's been it's been a really good campaign for him, and his form's there. Horse like Lucky Lad, he's obviously the best horse in the race, and he's got himself out of trouble a few times. Whether he could do it at Greyville is the question.
All right, going to ask the guys just quickly for their comments. Brett, Sergey for you?
Grant, between Sergey, I'll stick with him.
Sergey for you. Sean, obviously Lucky Lad if he gets some luck in running.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the horse. Obviously, we've got it all to do from the draw, but I would never discount his chances.
Anthony?
Yeah, well, we didn't talk about a horse, Cruise Control, which is also our horse.
Yes.
And I think his last run, we rode him wrong. We tried to sit him, don't let him stride. He's a kind of horse that does like to stride along. And if you go back to his previous run, to Lucky Lad, he can't be out of it, you know. So although saying that, there's going to be a lot of speed in the race, but he is a horse that likes to stride along. I think this race is very wide open.
There was quite a lot of talk for him on July Day that he was going to run a big race.
Yeah, we didn't ride the right race on him. We were concerned about Golden's Sparkle going to cut our throats, so we were more worried about sitting behind her, and I think we made the wrong decision.
All right, and obviously Keegan's already said that At My Command he's got a soft spot for. He used to ride that horse, and he'll know exactly what he's capable of as well. So, cracking contest, the Group 1 Sprint. Race number 7, the main event on the card. It might not be a Group 1, but it is South Africa's leading stayers race, and it's attracted one of the better fields that it's had for some years. And I'm going to go straight to the top of the boards, and that is Future Pearl. That's a horse trained by Sean Terry. He ran in the July itself, and he ran an absolute cracker coming from right off the pace, and he is probably the best stayer in the country, and I'm sure that the panel will confirm that. Well, most of them will, and I think Sean Terry will be one that does. Future Pearl, Sean, he's an absolute cracking stayer. He must have been delighted with his run in the July.
Yeah, yes and no.
He could have been closer.
But in terms of a prep run, he couldn't have had a better prep. He sat at the back of the field out of trouble and basically raced for 400 metres. Pulled him out wide and he finished like a steam train. So, yeah, delighted with the prep.
Everything's gone well subsequent to the race. He pulled up well.
Yeah, everything's gone really well. Obviously, we're carrying a big mass, but he's still well handicapped with a good few of them. And yeah, I just think this Gold Cup can be tricky in terms of pace, in terms of lightweights getting away, etc. But if it's a true run race, the cream should rise.
Being drawn at 6 now, where would you ideally like this fella to be sitting in the race?
Listen, I don't think he needs to carry his weight. I think halfway back would be ideal.
Because you know he's got to finish.
He's got to finish, and yeah, we don't need to push the envelope. I'd be happy to just see him halfway back.
We've also got Nabras, who's no stranger to this race.
Yeah, Nabras is a game old soldier. I mean, I really do love this horse. He loves his trips down to the coast. He enjoys Cape Town, he enjoys Durban, and he's got a lovely galloping weight. He's had a beautiful prep, and yeah, he's maybe a horse that I'd like to see race a little handier than his old style of racing. And I think if he is up there, he could give them a fright if he goes early.
I think he's going to be a great race, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Sean finishing 1-2. That's my personal opinion. Keagan might have different thoughts because he's riding one-way traffic, who Justin always thought was going to be one of the better stayers in the country, but I don't think he's really lived up to Justin's expectations.
Yeah, look, well, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's over 700 days since he's won a race. He stays well, he's well weighted, he's got a good draw. So you just got to hope that the fire's still burning and he's got the will to win, but he's doing well. He's, like I said, the draw is going to be a big help for him. But it's hard to look past Future Pearl. He's the best stayer in the country for a reason, and he's going to be hard to beat.
Anthony, for you, for the running of the Gold Cup this year round, do you think it's a Future Pearl race to win?
I think it's an absolute certainty. I think it's a very weak race. I think he comes very well at this time of the year. I can't see anything beating him.
And it was an impressive run in the July, wasn't it?
Very impressive. This horse really comes well this time of the year. He's a very good stayer. I don't think pace will matter. I just think he's got such a good turn of foot. Wherever he is, I think he'll win.
Brett, who are you siding with?
Definitely Sean's horse, Future Pearl, great run in the July. Course and distance, unbeaten, this horse. Distance, unbeaten. I think he ticks all the boxes, and I agree with Anthony. For me, I think he'll be my banker and everything on the day.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I thought he was the best bet on the card. So I think he's going to have quite a few tickets riding on him, but he is, without doubt, the best stayer in South Africa. Next of the Group 1s, it's the Hong Kong Jockey Club Champions Cup. It's a Group 1 contest of 1,800 metres. And here is a really classy contest. And favourite is See It Again. He's been favourite the last couple of starts, and he hasn't really fulfilled that promise. He has had a couple of bad luck stories, but I think there are other runners here as well that have probably earmarked this race as their primary goal. So See It Again is topping the boards. Cousin Casey ran an absolute cracker in his July. He ran second behind Brett Crawford's runner, and you can also make a case for Flagman, who was right up there and actually hit the front and looked very dangerous for quite a few strides. But let's go to our panellists. Winchester Mansion is a scratching. That is the Brett Crawford runner. So let's start with Brett. Obviously, you would have liked to have lined up in a race of this stature once again, but things haven't gone according to plan, but it really is a great running of this event.
No, sure, it's always a great race. It's... Obviously, you've got a lot of your July horses in here. I feel personally that a horse like Royal Victory, I thought his run in July was once again very good. There's a little bit of turnaround in weights with a few horses now. See It Again, he did find a little bit of trouble in the running. Cousin Casey, great run. I must say, I thought he looked outstanding on July Day. So, if the July hasn't taken too much out of him, I'm sure he's going to make his presence felt. And, Dave the King, Mike seems to have got on top of this horse, seems to have worked him out, and, he's been in good form of late. So I think it's a bit trickier than it looks. I certainly will be putting a couple of horses into my perms. But if I have to side, I would go with I'll go with See It Again, Cousin Casey, and Royal Victory.
I need to ask you this because you've often taken horses and not gone to the July and saved them for this race. Now, the only horse that can basically boast that is Dave the King. That seems to be a bit of a trend with this horse. A lot of the horses that come out and win this race actually skip the July.
Yeah, look, I think obviously Mike realised his horse won't see the trip, so I think it's a bit of a different scenario for Dave the King. But look, the July is always a tough race. It does take a lot out of the horses, so I'm sure Sean will be able to allude to how Cousin Casey's come out of it. But that is obviously a little bit of a concern. But, I've also had horses that have run in the July. Futura, he ran in July and came and won the Champions Cup. So it's definitely not impossible. I think it's just all about how they've come out of the July and how they're feeling. So I think it's going to be a very good race.
Sean, how did Cousin Casey come out of the race?
Yeah, he's taken the run really well. This horse is in sublime well-being at the moment. And it wasn't even a day or two that I had to monitor him because he had bounced back and he was fresh and well. His weight, he's gaining weight, and when a horse has had a hard time, they normally drop off a bit in weight, and especially with the travelling, he's thriving, he's loving it, and obviously enjoys Greyville. But can he step up at the weights with a horse like See It Again? I mean, See It Again basically comes in a lot better weight than he did in the July. Yes, they did meet each other in the mile, but See It Again definitely needed that run. So See It Again looks like the class horse. Obviously, Dave the King, question mark the distance, but he won really well. I thought that he was ridden very cleverly, but at the same time, yeah, he's a legitimate contender, and I think those are the two horses I would be most respectful of. Obviously, a Royal Victory is a runner too, and Flagman, so it is quite open. But I think I need to step up at the weights, but the horse is very well.
And you have got one advantage, that you've drawn 1 and See It Again's drawn 10.
Yeah, that helps. You know, have we got the right pace in this race? Because the horse that wants to go forward is Purple Picture, but you know, will he be able to stay on at Greyville, or will he drop back? So I think tactics are going to play a massive role here.
Keagan, I'm going to come to you now because you're riding Double Superlative. Now, looking at his form, if you don't see where he came from, that run in the July was actually very impressive because he actually finished quite strongly and he made up a lot of ground in the closing stages.
Yes, look, he did. I think a horse like Cousin Casey was in front of him and still beat him by a good 4.5 lengths. So it's going to be hard to turn that around. But it's his third run after a rest, and I think it's going to be the best version of Double Superlative. In saying that, it is a very hard race, and horse like Dave the King, he's probably had the right prep, fresh legs. Don't think he's won over the trip, but he seems to have settled down since being gelded. And yeah, I just think the older horses are the horses to look out for. I think the 3-year-olds are going to battle in the race, but like I said, my horse is coming in the best version of him, and it's just going to be hard to take on a horse like Dave the King and See It Again.
But in his best form, you could certainly give them a bit of a fright.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's just whether he can, you know. He's obviously come off a long break. He had other plans, and then he came back to race. So, look, I can't fault him on his work. It's going to be the best version of him, and just whether he's good enough on the day.
Anthony, in terms of summarising what you've heard now as well, the one horse I want to chat to you about is Flagman, because he is the local horse. He's the bit of a crowd favourite here in Durban at the moment, and he ran an absolute cracker in the July.
Yeah, he ran a very good race in the July, and he was drawn really poorly, and obviously was rushed to get into a good position. I felt he might have moved a little bit too soon on him, and maybe he didn't quite see the trip. Obviously, I think the 1800 is going to suit him down to the ground, but as Sean said, the pace of the race is going to really count, and I think David the King is going to be in front. 1800 is a little bit of a question mark about him getting the 1800, but I think he might have everything in his favour in front. But I think this is a very tough race. I think Cousin Casey draw 1 is going to make a huge difference. The way he turned it on last time was really good. I couldn't split anything here. I think the pace of the race could count out the winner.
All right, close contest here. I do think that it could be See It Again, who might just get the lucky knees in a run and be able to get that next elusive Group 1 victory, but it is wide open. Race number 9 is the Riding High Together Gold Bracelet. It's a Group 2. This is over 2,000 metres. Quite a wide open race. The betting suggests that as well. Top of the boards is number 6, Beating Wings, who ran an absolute cracker last time when venturing to KZN. This one's trained by Stuart Pettigrew, and Calvin Habib gets the ride. We'll have quite a few supporters on the day. But close behind is number 9, Red Palace, the Cape Raider. That one trained by Candice Robinson. And you've also got some support coming in for a horse like Brett Crawford's Happy Chance. So let's start with Brett with Happy Chance. Desperately unlucky last time out. Looked like she was going to be home and hosed.
Yeah, Grant, you know, it looked like she had it in the bag, and Humdinger fought back gamely to get us on the line. So obviously a great run from the filly. She's in great form at home. She's come out of this race exceptionally well. My only little concern is the 10 furlongs. I think a mile to 18 is her range. So that is a slight concern for me, the 10 furlong. But from a well-being point of view, couldn't be happier with her, and she's in great form at home.
She seems to get on well with Cabello as well.
Yeah, he's, the first time we brought her here, she obviously needed the run in Tibashina. She came on immensely, great run in the Group 1. And as I say, she's in great form, but in the back of my mind, I'm just a little bit concerned that the 10 furlong might be a slight stretch for her.
You are training her for Hollywood, Anthony. You guys must have been almost starting to celebrate. You must have thought she had won that race.
Yeah, just shows you the Humdinger is like got a big heart, and
Yeah.
we looked like we had her, and a bit disappointed, but we had to swallow the pill.
We've got another chance here, though. What do you think of her in the 2,000 metres?
Yeah, as Brett says, obviously the 10 furlong is a big concern, but I think last time she had everything in her favour. She was drawn 1, now we're drawn 10, and we're a bit concerned about the trip, so it is going to be a bit tough for her.
All right, but certainly comes into the race with a chance. We go to Keagan's ride now, and that's Raskova. Keagan, this filly's been so game, and she's a nice front runner, and she tends to keep finding, but now she goes the 2,000 metres. What are your thoughts?
The yards seem to think she'll get the trip. It's on her work. Her work was really, really good, but she worked like a sprinter. So that is the concern. She obviously looks to be settling a little bit better in a race, but my concern is the 2,000. She's going to have to settle, and she might have a little bit of pressure from a horse like Lady of Power and Red Palace, so she's not going to have it her own way. So it's going to be tough for her.
Is that the only way she can race, is to be handy?
I think it is. I think trying to fight her, you're definitely going to lose the battle. So you're just going to have to hope that you're allowed to go forward and settle her from there. But yeah, it's gonna be hard. But the yards seem to have changed a bit and done a few things at home that have helped that. So just really hopeful she stays the trip and she settles.
All right, Anthony, back to you. Who do you think's the leading light here, before I go to Sean with Red Maple?
Well, I think beating the Wings must be the one to beat on its form. And I think this race is really, really competitive. I think Red Palace must have a very good chance. I don't think things really mapped out last time out. What's his number 15? Saki must have a real good chance. Anything is drawn 15, it's going to be really difficult from there. I couldn't choose a winner from this race. I think this race is really competitive.
Sean, Red Maple?
Red Maple returned with an abscess from her last start. She missed a few days' work. I would just be very happy to see her finishing the race off well. I think it is quite an open race, but I think Stuart's horse looks like he could be the right horse because it ticks all the boxes. But I do like Happy Chance. I think third run after a rest comes from off them, confident ride, drop her out. I think she'll probably be finishing best of all. And obviously the other Cape horse, Red Palace, is highly regarded. We haven't seen much of her, but she ran on well enough. She only got beat 2 lengths the last time, but there was probably 4 lengths separating first and last. So it's hard to have an opinion on that run. It's 3 or 4 here that can win. It's not the easiest race, but I've had milers win this race, and I think if Brett's horse has ridden confidently and dropped out and kept quiet, that she could deliver the goods.
Kofi, are you the horse to beat?
Grant, if you go on ratings alone, I mean, she's one of the highest rated fillies in the race. But like I say, we know for sure that beating the Wings is definitely going to get the trip. But I think Sean's right. If we ride our filly correctly, she's run close in the paddock stakes of 18 at Kenilworth, and I agree. I think the 10 furlongs at Greyville is a little bit easier than 18 at Kenilworth. So I think if things go for us, I think she'll run a good race.
All right, brilliant. That is the summary for race number 9. We've got one race left to go. 10th and final race here at Greyville will be the Omi Handicap. It's a listed event over 1,000 metres, and topping the boards is number 5, Pistol Pete. Now, Pistol Pete started off his racing career with very, very facile victories. He looked to be a really smart horse. He lost his way just a little bit, but he certainly seems to be finding that form again, and he's topping the boards. He's trained by Tony Peter. Muzieni jumps on board, and he'll have his fair share of supporters as well. But Hollywood have got runners here as well. So let's go to Anthony. Anthony, how do you see race number 10, and are you guys alive?
Yeah, I think Hit Them Hard Sunshine was probably our best runner in the race. I think there'll be a lot of speed in the race, and he's a kind of horse that does try to over-race. I think he enjoys the turn. He's won both his races here around the turn. I think he'll settle nicely. I think he's definitely got a chance. Obviously, Pistol Pete is a 2-year-old taking on older horses. I think the 5 furlong is definitely going to suit him. So he's definitely got to be the horse we're going to have to beat. But I think the race is wide open.
Well, it certainly does look like it is a wide open race, especially if you're going to go against Pistol Pete. Keagan, you're riding for Justice Nate. You got number 8, Underworld. On his day, he could certainly be competitive in a lineup like this.
Yeah, look, he's horse with ability. The concern is the 1,000 metres. I don't think he's tried it once, and he got beat by a filly. So he's freshened up very well after the race. I mean, after his last start, and look, I can't fault his work back at home, but my concern is the 1,000. I think there's a lot more horses here with good 1,000-metre form, and horses like Dreamland and Pistol Pete on the weights are probably the horses to beat.
All right, Sean's got a runner. He's got Magic Tattoo, number 4 on the card. Sean, obviously, he was carded to race. Did he run the other day?
No, he didn't run. We got Stuart's permission because obviously we drew well in the feature. So we thought we'd rather take this opportunity. I'm glad to hear that Anthony likes Hit Them Hard Sunshine, because at the weights we've got that stone cold. But I think if a horse like Pistol Pete shows up at his best, he might just be a very tough horse to peg back. And then I think we need to just show a bit of respect for the one horse. He's on a good sequence. Richard, drawn 1. If he takes to the poly, yeah, I think he's a runner. He's on the poly.
Brett, how do you see race number 10?
Grant, I think for me, you know, the 2-year-old, he's a very quick horse. He's got a decent draw. He's got a decent galloping weight. Has to be respected. But obviously, Dreamland from draw 1, Richard on, he would probably be the horse that I would lean towards. From Pistol Pete. And then there's always been a lot of talk about King of Gauls, but he is from that deep draw. That's definitely not going to be easy for him. But last time I know they tried to place him, and obviously he just ran out of steam. So maybe they'll give him a bit of a chance and ride him for luck.
Well, Pistol Pete beat a horse, Bjorn Ironside, last time out. He's running early in the card. So if he were to come through, Sean, and land that race, would that highlight the fact that this is probably the right one, the 2-year-old?
Listen, this horse, when he was winning, he was very, very impressive. And he just lost his way a little bit, but not badly, you know. And those 2 runs were over 1,200, so you can forgive the horse. And then he's bounced back really well, even though it wasn't 1160. It's winter going, so it's easier for those pacey horses to stay on than in the summer going. So. Yeah, I just think if he's as speedy as we've seen in Joburg, he might be a tough nut to pick back.
Especially with 52 kilograms. Right, that brings to a close the comments through the races. I'm going to just ask our panellists what they might think is their best bet and their best value bet. And I'll start with Brett alongside me here. Best bet for you, Brett?
Happy Chance.
Okay.
And value bet, Sergio and Pomodoros Jet.
Okay, so there you go. 3 nice runners. With it, nice prices as well from the Crawford Racing Stables. Sean, your best bet?
Listen, I'd love to say Future Pearl, but obviously I am just, concerned that everything goes right in a 3-2. So I'll go for the other one in race 2, Rodeo Drive.
Rodeo Drive for Sean, but healthy respect there for his Gold Cup runner, Future Pearl. Anthony, your best bet?
My best bet would be Future Pearl and Rodeo Drive. Those are, I think, the best 2 bets.
Same
on
page
the
as
card.
Sean. Yeah. And Keagan, yourself?
Future Pearl best bet, value bet would probably be Get Impressed.
All right, I think Get Impressed, a massive runner as well. I'm in the camp of Future Pearl. I think he's going to take a power of beating. If he has an incident-free run, I think he'll be very difficult to oppose. But thanks very much, my panelists. Guys, thanks very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Grant.
Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. We look forward to hosting you all on Sunday. It's going to be a cracking day's races. You've seen what the quality of the card is. You've seen how many graded races there are. We look forward to them being brought to you. And let's hope that we have a very nice day's racing and the right horses come home.
Get ready for one of the most thrilling events of the season, the Whirlpool Gold Cup Race Day. This July 28th, join us for a spectacular showcase of equine excellence with 8 graded races in one exhilarating event. Feel the excitement as these magnificent athletes push themselves to the limit over the demanding 3,200 meter track. Will a new champion emerge, or will Future Pearl and champion jockey defend their title? Don't miss out on this unforgettable day of top-tier racing as we close the season with high stakes and electrifying action at Hollywoodbet's Greyville Racecourse. It's not just a race, it's a test of endurance, courage and the relentless pursuit of victory.